Being a social media manager sounds very simple at first. You like creating content, maybe you've created posts for your own brand, or even helped a friend's business. And that's when you think, I think I could be doing this for a living. But then the questions start. How much should I charge? Where do I find clients? Do you really need to post everywhere all the time? And then clients start asking about strategies, monthly reports, and suddenly you understand that it does not feel so simple. And don't worry, because trust me, we've all been there. That's why in this video, we are showing you the 5 essential steps to build a career around social media management, even if you're starting from scratch. These are actually the same steps we use at Metricool. And these steps will help you feel like you've got this even when things get a little messy. Actually, we've created a free Notion template where we've added everything that we do so you can duplicate it and use it for you. Here you're gonna find examples, templates, and even a very simple workflow to keep your clients organized. And to help you put everything into practice, you'll get access to a 30-day free trial of Metricool's advanced plan at the description. So you can test it and see if you want to keep building with this. Okay, let's start with the first step and the biggest gap most people have when they're starting their career as a social media manager. The strategy. You already know how to make videos, write captions, and you even put together posts. But then when a client asks you why are you posting 2 times a week versus 5, or which platforms are the ones that bring the more sales, things start getting a little bit more complicated. Being a social media manager means going beyond content. It means learning how to set up goals, choose the right channels, analyze performance, and back up all of your decisions with data. You have to think that you're not just a poster, you're a marketer. And marketers think in terms of strategy, campaigns, KPIs, sales funnels, segmentation, all of that jazz. And one of the most important things that you have to know when being a social media manager is knowing who you create content for. And that means defining your target audience and building clear marketing personas. And with this, I mean not just saying, okay, this persona is a woman from 20 to 35 years old, because that is very vague. What you really need is a profile with pains, goals, motivations, and of course, content preferences. Because the clearer you are about your audience, the easier it is to create content that creates a connection. And if that feels overwhelming, don't worry, because inside the dashboard that I just mentioned before, we've included a step-by-step strategy section that guides you through all of this. From defining your clients' brand voice and audience personas, to mapping out goals and building a content plan that makes sense. And this is the same format that we use at Metricool whenever we want to create our new strategy or we're starting the new year. So if you want it, you can grab it in the description for free whenever you want. Now on to step number 2, you have to build a sustainable content system. Because let's be real, platform overload is when things start to really get messy for us social media managers. Because you start managing Instagram and then everything is okay. But then your client asks if you can actually do 1 TikTok video per week, and then Pinterest, and then maybe YouTube Shorts. And suddenly you realize that you are creating content for 4 different channels without even thinking about it really well. And it honestly starts to feel like you're working a full-time job for only 1 client. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but when this happened to me, I was not being compensated what I actually was aiming for. So the key here is not to work harder. The key is to work with a plan. And if you work with a lot of platforms, I would say that you don't need to create everything from scratch. You just need a system that helps you repurpose. You turn a video into a carousel into a poll into a long YouTube video, and so on. That way, one idea can live in several different formats, tailored to each platform, but without taking up your entire week just by doing content. And when we say repurpose, here's a real life example. Millie McKenzie, a freelance social media pro, posted a really bold take on LinkedIn. She mentioned that being a social media manager didn't equal content creator. And then she shared a breakdown of the difference between these two roles. And that post got over 32,000 impressions only on LinkedIn. So what did Millie do? Well, she then turned that same message into a TikTok video. And guess what? With just a few words on screen and the format really well thought for that platform, she nearly hit 80,000 views on another platform totally different from the main one. So, same message, different format, different platform, and it still worked because not only was the message good, but she adapted the content to feed on another platform. We actually share this type of strategy in another video that I will share right here and also in the description. Here, we show you how to build a complete weekly plan in just 5 hours. You'll actually learn how to take one idea and make it fit across all of your platforms without spending 10 hours a week trying to create for every platform. On to step number 3. You have to define your services and your pricing. Because let's talk about one of the trickiest parts when it comes to starting your life as a social media manager and being a freelancer. Trying to figure out what you offer and how much people should pay for it, it's super tricky when it comes to you deciding your prices, pretty much. Because when you tell people, hey, I manage social media, that could honestly mean a gazillion of things. Because are you defining graphics? Are you filming reels? Are you doing community management? Are you sending reports? Are you writing a copy? There are a million things that people can choose from when it comes to being a social media manager. And the bad thing here is that if you don't define it, the truth is your client will define it for you. And that's how you end up doing everything for almost nothing. So take the time to write it out. What's included in your service? What's not? What do you charge extra for? Getting clear on that makes it so much easier to set expectations and avoid awkward conversations later. And if you've never created a service package, no worries, because I've also have one template for that on our Notion that I mentioned before. And you can actually also find examples of service packages you can tweak and make it your own. That way you're not starting from scratch when trying to reach out to different or potential clients. We also created a freelance starter pack for this section where you're going to be able to find a proposal template that you can customize, an invoice you can send, and even email prompts to help you ask your clients to please pay you nicely. Basically, everything you need to not only define your pricing, but to confidently deliver them and get paid for what you deserve. On to step number 4, I have that you have to set up systems or you will get stuck on chaos. When you're managing social media, the hardest part isn't coming up with ideas. It's keeping track of everything. You're juggling between drafts, captions, filming, client feedback, scheduling, analytics, reporting, and community management. So it's normal that one day you will feel like you're on top of it, but the next you're like, oh my God, please, someone save me from hell. So if you don't want this to happen to you, my biggest advice is for you to set up a system that works for you. Something that makes your day-to-day feel manageable. For example, here's how a lot of social media managers do it. Once a month, you can sit down, list all of your content ideas, rough draft some of the posts, and check in with your client, just to make sure nothing sounds super off before you spend more time on it. Then, twice a month, you can develop those ideas, design the visuals, and move everything into your content planner. And here's a tip. If you're using Metricool, you can send your client a link where they can preview everything and hit approve. And you can do everything right there. No screenshot and no messy emails. Then every day, you can set aside maybe 30 minutes of your day to reply to comments and messages. You don't need to hop between 5 apps to try to respond everyone all at once. With Metricool, you can actually manage DMs and comments right inside the platform. And while you're in there, it's easy to check how your content is performing. You can also keep an eye on your competitors and even try out some of our integrations with Canva or Google Drive. Now, on my last step, but not the least important, you have to build a pipeline, because the truth is, no system matters if you don't have clients. So at this point, you've got your strategy, you've set up your pricing, you're organized, you know how to repurpose content, and you have a solid system to manage your work. So what's next? Well, simple. Clients. Because no matter how ready you are, your plan doesn't come to life until somebody actually hires you. And that's where most social media managers get stuck, unfortunately. Not because they're not good, but because nobody taught them how to get more work. And here's the truth. Landing clients isn't about having 1,000 followers or social media or having a fancy portfolio. It's about putting yourself out there consistently and knowing where to look. These might be pitching on LinkedIn, replying to posts on Reddit, sending proposals through Fiverr, or even DMing people on Instagram. But even more important than where you look is how you manage those opportunities. That's where something called a CRM comes in. It's nothing fancy, but it just means a place to track potential clients or potential offers so you don't forget and you keep everything on track. In the free template we're sharing with you, you'll find a super simple version of this. It actually lets you log your outreach, keep notes about who's interested, and stay on top of your pipeline without getting super overwhelmed. Just hit the link in the description, duplicate the template, and make it all yours. And with this, you can feel ready to start your path as a social media manager. See you in the next one, Much Cooler.